Attacks on the media have highlighted the coverage of the protests and riots. Television crews have been targeted, including this CNN reporter who was arrested live on air. And this reporter in Louisville who was shot by police with pepper balls while she was live on air. And while there is no excuse for attacking members of the media, we need to point out the stories that the media is not reporting on. Take a look at this. A store owner who is an elderly woman is standing watch, pleading with protesters not to loot her store. And instead, what do? They viciously attack her. And then the looters these looters casually ride up on their bicycles, steal what they want out of the store, and then ride away on their bicycles. Meanwhile, Hollywood celebrities have offered to help the protesters, and the media is playing them up as heroes. Look at this. Model Chrissy Teigen and other celebs like Steve Carell and Seth Rogen have offered contributions to bail out protesters in Minnesota and nationwide. Well, joining us is our media panel, the media reporter for The Hill, Joe Concha, and former CNN anchor and brand journalist Heidi Collins. Thank you both for being here.
Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Girls.
Let me start off with a very basic question. How is the media covering this, in your opinion? Joe?
Oh, boy. That's such a loaded question, Sean, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but there's just so many different aspects to this. Look, you got a lot of local reporters on the ground. Do you realize that now 60 reporters have either been assaulted, attacked, or arrested in just the past 72 hours alone? So now you look at that and you say, okay, well, maybe they shouldn't be so close to the action. Maybe police can't discriminate between protesters and reporters, and then we see also groups like Antifa are attacking, say, reporters, one from Fox News, for instance, that literally had to get chased out of Lafayette Park, where his security team, one was hit in the face, and the reporter's name is Leland Vittert, and he has been in war zones before and said that was the scariest situation that he's ever been in. And so you see groups like Antifa exploiting, if they see a microphone, they see a camera, they know that if they attack that reporter, that goes viral, and that adds to the chaos and that narrative even more. So to answer your question, how has it been covered? I don't like the political aspect of it at all. I think blaming President Trump, for example, which I have seen in many quarters, as far as this is Trump's America now, and this is why this is happening, probably aren't old enough to remember 2014, 2015, and what happened in Ferguson, in Missouri, in Baltimore, and those riots under the previous administration, to play a blame game with any president when it comes to these things because of what some rogue cops, or a cop in this case, did, who's now charged with murder. I think then just that adds fuel to the fire and doesn't do us any good. So I've seen some good reporting, quite frankly, Sean, and then I see a lot of bad reporting. The good reporting usually comes from the ground. The bad reporting is from those ivory towers in New York and Washington, people sitting back and watching it all unfold and opining on what's happening instead of reporting on it.
Heidi, a lot of reporters are just trying to do their jobs out there. But do you think that the media is inflaming these situations at all?
Well, I think that is certainly a possibility. Just doing your job out there is certainly difficult in and of itself. But when decisions are made at networks or local affiliates to simply only cover certain areas of the protesting or certain hotbeds of these different issues and different news events like this, then I think you have a problem. I think you have a real problem. And I'll tell you, we just watched the White House briefing today by Kayleigh McEnany, and there was an awful lot talked about more stories that the media is not covering. It was really a very, very emotional, just an outstanding job that I thought she did. She explained how there are many different cases across the country where protesters were protecting police and police were protecting protesters. There's a very big difference here between violent Antifa protesters and actual peaceful protesters. And she showed that dichotomy very, very clearly.
It's a great point that you bring up, Heidi, because it's what you cover is what the rest of the world sees. And so sometimes they don't see the good that's happening out there. But the other thing is, in some ways, they're not seeing the bad. Let me show you a couple of things. First thing is a tweet that was sent out initially by Yamiche Alcindor, who works for PBS, she's the White House correspondent. And the tweet says that she's basically going after President Trump, saying, these people are anarchists, President Trump says, without providing any evidence. Okay, well then, Phil Wegman of Real Clear Politics responded to her tweet and said, I was there last night when fires were burning in NW, which is Northwest Washington, D.C. Your tweet is not factual. And then there was this gem on MSNBC from Ali Velshi. Listen to what he says as the fires are literally burning in the background.
The National Guard has been activated. They are not here. The police are not here. The police have been evacuated. The fire engines can't get in here. There is no ability to bring anybody in here to solve this problem. So I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
I don't know how you. I mean, that seems like a Baghdad Bob moment there. The guy standing in front of fires blazing, and he's saying it's mostly not out of control. Joe, I don't get how. I mean, that literally the images are on the screen when he's saying it. Why? I mean, why wouldn't? What is he trying to cover for? I guess is the answer or a question.
We're about the same age, Sean, right? And mid-30s, I think it is. And, so we have both seen Animal House probably a couple dozen times. And you remember that scene at the end where the band and there's just chaos and anarchy because the Delta House has now taken over the downtown parade where the college is. And Kevin Bacon, a young Kevin Bacon, is out there saying, all is well, remain calm. And you just see people trampling each other behind them and just anarchy. That's basically what we just saw with Ali Velshi. With you see, it's not just a small fire behind him; it is an inferno. He's saying, this is mostly peaceful. Yeah, I don't get the whole protecting aspect of it. And you brought up PBS's Dimitri Alcindor. I mean, for her to say that the president is not providing any evidence that there's any anarchists involved, you can go online and find about, a couple hundred pictures literally of the anarchy symbol that has marked a lot of these protests, riots, looting, violence just from the last couple of days alone. Right. Yes, anarchists are involved. Antifa actually absolutely is involved. And yes, the president is going to designate them as a terrorist organization, as he should.
Well, this is great. I mean, I think we could go on for the entire show talking about this. There's so much to unpack, including the point that Heidi brought up that I want to get to later with you guys in a next episode about whether or not how Kayleigh's going back and forth with the press is appropriate. A lot of these guys in the media are pushing back. But we're going to have to get you guys back to talk about all of that. I appreciate you coming on, and I want to wish Heidi Collins a very happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Sean. Thanks, you guys.
All right.
35 also, right? We're all 35 at the
Absolutely.
All of us are 35.
All right. Thank you, guys. Happy birthday, Heidi. Well, as Sean mentioned, there is so much more to cover on the civil unrest gripping our nation, and our company is going to join us next. Plus, stick around for part 1 of Blocked and Banned Social Media Censorship of the Right with special guest Donald Trump Jr.